And I can tell you, Cheryl, that over the number of years, and you and I are
Old timers.
old timers here. So, you know, with the number of cats that have been trapped over the years, I can tell you that there's a good majority of them that are social, domesticated house cats. I mean, they, you know, for whatever reason, they're roaming the streets, but they're not necessarily feral.
Right.
So the point is that those guys need an opportunity too to get off the street,
Right.
and to get that opportunity to find a new
Right.
place to live, a new
And
home.
here again, those cats that are left outside, when they're first outside, they're very frightened.
Oh, it's scary.
But then they try to adapt as best they can, and
Right.
one of the ways that they adapt is by avoiding humans, because
Sure.
after all, how were they abandoned in the first
Right.
place?
Sure.
And not everybody likes cats,
Mm-hmm.
and so people need to understand that a lot of times the cats that may be acting like they're feral are really house cats that are just defending themselves
Right.
because they're too
Right.
fearful
Right.
of coming back
Well,
in.
and honestly, Cheryl, we get cats that have been declawed and altered, and you know, so obviously they belong to somebody. I mean, at one time or another, they lived in a home environment,
Right.
and for whatever reason, they're back out on the streets
Right.
again.
Well,
so,
if you remember, we had a cat in our office for several years, Roger, who came into the shelter as a stray. He was four-paw declawed and neutered. And so, you know, what was he doing out there? And nobody ever claimed him.
Yeah.
And so we get a lot of instances like that. But then there are, because we are in a rural community, we do have a problem with feral cats in our community.
we truly
need
do.
to
There's no
address it.
question. And you know, a lot of people don't see feral cats. I mean, you know, you may see a cat now and then out in your yard or that type of thing, but you know, they estimate for every cat that you just see, there's 10 more out there. So there's a number of cats. I mean, outdoor cats is at an epidemic. There's no question about it. We know that. We've known it for years.
Right.
We see, that's why our shelter is so incredibly busy, and when we talk about kitten season and we talk about like cats coming in and how, I mean, you know, in our height of our kitten season, we're seeing 46 cats a week come
Right.
into our building.
46 cats a week. That's just,
And
you
that's
know?
just, you know, that's the average. I mean, that's pretty incredible. And you know, and the truth is you can't time that. You can't say, well, we'll take 3 this day and we'll take 4 this day because that's how much room we got. A lot of times you'll get 20 cats in a day, and that's pretty hard to cope with.
Right.
You know, we do it because of our life-saving mission, but it's really, really hard.
right. How does that equate with dogs?
Oh gosh, with dogs, you know, we're seeing 3 times as many cats as we are dogs. So it's just, you know, and there's a difference, I think, sometimes with dogs. People will come to, you know, because they can get cats at different sources out on the street, or grandma had kittens, or, you know, whatever the case might be, that, you know, so they think people get their
It's kind of
animals elsewhere.
supply and demand.
Sure,
Kind of
yeah.
supply and demand. And,
Yeah.
and again, during kitten season, it's a burden, because it's like, well, I can go get a kitten free to a good home rather
You
than
see 'em-
coming to the Humane
Sure,
Society.
you
and
see
getting
them
a
in the
healthy
paper
one.
all the time, free to a good home kittens.
Right.
You know, because again, someone didn't spay and neuter, and that now they have these cats, and there they are, where they've got, you know, they've got to find homes, and so for every
And
home,
if they don't, sometimes they end up
They
out
come
on
here.
the street. Well, they
Right.
come here, or they end out on the street and then become part of the
right,
trap neuter release
and
again.
it kind of goes with that what we talked about, Cheryl, with the fact that spaying and neutering is so incredibly important. I mean, it is the key to ending overpopulation with cats. It's absolutely paramount that people do it. And I recognize that sometimes people can't afford to do it, or it's not a high priority, whatever reasons there are. But there really needs to be an effort put on people that says, I will do this. I will
Right.
do this for my cat because it's better and it's healthier, and my cat is not going to add to
Right. And
more
by doing the
cats.
trap neuter release program, we're trying to help get all of the outdoor cats well taken care of, and so that we don't
Sure.
have that overpopulation,
Sure.
which is, again, can be causing problems for house cats that
Sure.
are living inside.
That's no question about it. There's really a lot of there's a lot of you know, domino effect as far as like how things all work. You know, like a house cat. You know, some people may say, well, you know, those cats are outside. I don't care about them. They have no effect on me, or they don't have any. There's not anything that, you know, they're going to do that's going to affect me. But the truth of the matter is they can. I mean, how many calls?
I've had it at my own house. I've had
Yeah.
it at my own house, where I had this was about 20 years ago. I had 2 or 3 tomcats that kept prowling around my house, and it was in early spring, not warm enough to open up windows, and one of my indoor cats was running from window to window to window to window to window. And I'm like, what are you doing? And finally I went outside, and here sitting on my air conditioning unit is one of these big tomcats. Well, he took one look at me and took off running. Well, a couple days later, I went downstairs in my family room, and I'm washing windows, and I'm going, I can't wipe the, I'm wiping off spray in my own house, which tells me that one of my neutered cats decided to spray and mark territory in the family room against that window, but I couldn't get the window clean. So I went outside, and when I sprayed, got my rag to wipe the window, the smell, somebody was on the outside spraying. So they were having a spraying contest.
Yeah.
This is my territory, no, this is yours. So does it happen all the time? It probably happens more than we want to think about.
Yeah.
It
it's
really
a tough
does.
life out there too.
It really does have an effect on your inside cat.
Right.
And
or even if you don't have cats and you have a garden, how often, or a sandbox, or
right. You want your children outside, and here again, cats are also, Joni, more likely of all the domesticated animals. They are the most likely to come in contact with rabid animals because a lot of people think, oh, I'll let Buffy out for the night, because she always comes home.
Right.
Well, I don't let my dog out unattended for long periods of time.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people will let their cat out, and I've had that experience too in my 38 years of being married and having a cat. I had one of my cats bring me a bat. And
lovely.
It was and it wasn't dead. And it's kind of like, okay, I called my vet right away, and my cat was okay. He said, you're okay because your cat is current on his rabies vaccination and his other vaccinations, but he said you need to watch him. And I must clarify that he caught this bat inside my house. So it's very important that people be aware that cats can come in contact with rabid animals. And so all of this, directly or indirectly, affects everyone in the community. And we need to pull together.
Right. We need to do this as a community. And so one of the reasons I think that, honestly, trap, neuter, and release, we know now is really the key to outdoor feral cats and community supporting them. We know that just trapping them and euthanizing them has no impact on the numbers. But if people stand together as a community and they want to help animals and they want to help those cats, and they're already doing it anyways by feeding them, trap, neuter, and release is the key.
Right. And here again, you said yourself, we don't want to be euthanizing those animals.
We don't.
And it may not have, that has a very powerful effect on the people that work at a shelter. We work here because we love animals, and we love all animals. And this is, trap, neuter, release has become an answer that we are able to help these animals.
Right.
And then over time, it will be something that will be able to be better controlled without having to euthanize. So I think that's important to know. Well, I hope, Joni, that we've answered a lot of questions about trap, neuter, release and what people in our community can do to help cats that are living outside. And if they have questions, they have us as a resource that they can come and ask us any questions that they may have. And so hopefully we'll see some people interested in helping with this program, whether they're actually trap, neutering, and releasing animals, or whether they're financially supporting this very
Absolutely.
important program in our
Right.
community. So until next time,
Happy tales to you.